Hey everybody, I'm just waiting for some folks to pop on. This is a live cooking demo for my 8th grade students. Any of my students are welcome to watch, or anybody out there in the internet is welcome to watch, but this is a live demo for my students. I'm just getting a few things ready until 4 o'clock hits, and we wait for them to join us. I got somebody on there. I did enable comments on the video, so if you want to ask questions while I'm going or pop on and have anything to say, feel free. If you are my students, classroom rules apply. So keep it where it needs to be. You know the expectations. All right. Just getting a few more things ready. Need the good knives. Oh, I got a couple more on there. Woo! If you are my students and you are watching, know, guys, that I miss you. Being home all day with my kids is different. I always tell you guys, I feel like I'm a better mom as a working mom, and I love being at school with you guys. So that is definitely, I'm missing you. So if you are feeling the same, just know we're all in this together. Okay, guys? Right now, I'll kind of give you guys a little look here at what is going on. So I cook with gas at home. I have a gas stove. Hopefully we will have gas at school really soon, although that could be different with this whole setup we got going on right now. I have my oven preheating because I'm going to sear some meat and then throw it in the oven to finish cooking and kind of show you guys how that works. But yeah, I think we're ready to get started with what's going on. So you guys have an assignment for me. It's called Out of the Box. And basically what I'm asking you to do is to take boxed ingredients. So soup mix, mac and cheese, ramen. Tonight I'm going to use like a quinoa rice kits. Okay. And I want you to take something like this and blow it up, make it better. You have to do some analyzing for me of what's in it, how to make it healthier, how to make it taste better, and that's all on your assignment online. So if you need a paper copy, you need to email it to somebody, whatever, let me know, and I will happily shoot you a message with that, okay? But this is the one I'm going to use tonight. It is quinoa 4-cheese risotto. I'm pretty sure you're seeing this in reverse, and I apologize, but that's just a bug we're going to have to deal with later. Okay? So some of the things that I'm going to use tonight to jazz up what's going on, I have some asparagus. I love asparagus. It's one of my favorites. Okay? I have some pork chops. Okay? And pork chops are a pretty inexpensive cut of meat. Another great option would be chicken thighs. Chicken thighs are always a great option. I love chicken thighs. They have just enough fat on them to keep them really moist, and they hold their flavor really well. They don't dry out like chicken breast. Okay. I'm going to use some cheese, some lemon, and some jam. Okay. This video is going to be your jam. I know, you miss my corny jokes, don't you? You do. So it's really important when you start a recipe, make sure you have what you need. So I read my package first, and I made sure I had what I needed. So I needed water, milk, and olive oil. So I'm going to get the olive oil out of my cabinet. Okay. So I'm going to start by getting the risotto going. So risotto is basically just a really slow cooked rice, and it comes out really creamy when it's done. So first things first, open it up. Okay, and it says pour the quinoa selects into a medium saucepan, add 1.5 cups of water, a cup of milk, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I have a medium saucepan. Okay, I'm going to pour that in. Now, one of the questions on your worksheet that goes along with this assignment is how do you reduce the salt? So you can see in there, there's a lot of seasoning. Okay. This one isn't as high in sodium as, say, like ramen noodles would be. So I'm not going to take any of the powder out, but that's one way you can reduce the sodium, is you can kind of take out some of that seasoning packet, okay, or reduce the amount you use. So that's in there. I need a cup of milk. So I have my milk from the trusty pig. Okay, if I can get the lid off. All right, I need 1 cup of milk. Measure my milk. Okay. All right, so a cup of milk. I need a cup and a half of water. So I'm just gonna squeeze over here to my sink real quick. You guys are sitting on my island right now. Okay. All right, I need a cup and a half of water. I did not rinse out the container because it's all going in the same pot. Okay. And we all know how much Mrs. Madgwick hates dishes. Okay, so that's in there. And then it says 2 tablespoons of olive oil. That's about a 3 count pour. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3. Okay, that should be about 2 tablespoons. Okay, 2 tablespoons is an ounce. Okay, typically when you're pouring an ounce, it's about 3, count to 3, and you get about an ounce. So that's all in there. Now I'm going to turn this on. I need to bring it up to a boil. So I'm going to turn my gas on. Hopefully it cooperates and turns on. It's going to be difficult tonight. I just cleaned my stove, and sometimes it doesn't like the light when I do that. There we go. Okay, so gas is on. All right, I'm going to give it a little stir here. Make sure everything is down in the liquid. Okay. So always follow your package directions. Make sure that you're cooking things according to the package. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and start preheating my pan. You guys know how I feel about cooking in a cold pan. You cannot cook in a cold pan. Okay. You wouldn't bake in a cold oven. Don't fry or grill or sear in a cold pan. All right, so that's all nice and mixed around. All right, I'm gonna set my spoon on my spoon rest over here. And now my frying pan, I have my really big frying pan. You guys can see this is a well-loved frying pan. I use it a lot, okay, and it's big. All right, like 14-inch frying pan, okay, but I have my burner on so that I can get that pan nice and hot in order to sear my meat. So, meat. Ooh, yummy. Okay. So, we are going to do pork chops. All right. So, I'm just going to cut the packaging here on my pork chops. My dog is sitting below my cutting board, anxiously waiting for me to drop something for her. She is. She wants a treat. Okay. Kind of like you guys are anxiously waiting for me to offer snacks or taste during demos. Sorry, this isn't smell-o-vision. Okay. I wish it was. I wish you were at school and you could be tasting what I'm eating and what I'm cooking. Okay. All right. So, meat. You need to season your meat with enthusiasm. What do I mean by that? Don't skimp. Okay. So, I love kosher salt. That's what this is, kosher salt. Okay, I'm going to put a good layer on there. You notice I'm not washing my meat. If you have ever been instructed to wash meat, please forget that. You don't need to wash meat. All that does is spread all of those raw meat juices all over your sink and then all over everything else. So don't wash your meat, okay? If your meat is fresh, you should be able to put it right in your pan from the packaging. Maybe you need to blot off a little excess moisture with paper towels, but you never need to wash your meat. That's just cuckoo, okay? You want to season both sides of your meat, okay? Because you're not just going to eat one side, okay? So these are pretty small pork chops. They are boneless, so they will cook really fast. which means we don't really have a lot of time to play with them when they're in the pan. Okay, so again, season both sides. Okay, kosher salt, a little black pepper. Okay, you could use like seasoning salt, Mrs. Dash. You could use some steak seasoning, anything like that would work. Okay, so those are seasoned. My pan is hot. Do not put oil in your pan until your pan is hot. If you put the oil in while your pan's cold and you heat it up, you're going to burn the oil. Okay, so wait until your pan is hot before you add oil. Okay, so oil goes in. I don't need a whole lot, just enough so that it coats the bottom of the pan. Okay, if your pan is hot, the oil will spread really nicely. Okay, it should start to smoke a little bit. That tells you your oil is at its smoke point. Okay, and it should just spin around on the bottom of the pan nice and neat. I can smell it. Okay, that's a good thing. I can smell the oil cooking, but it's not burning. Okay, so now I'm going to take my seasoned pork chops, put them right in. Hear that sizzle? That's what you want. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Okay, if it doesn't sizzle, your pan's not hot enough. I'm going to go ahead and season the other pork chops on this pan, on this tray. Okay. You guys notice I'm using tongs to do this, and it's just because I don't want to cross-contaminate my hands. If I wasn't doing a demo and I wasn't trying to like do this in a certain amount of time, I would probably just flip the meat with my hands and stop to wash them, but I don't want to have to stop and wash my hands in the video, so that's why I'm using tongs. Okay. If you don't like touching raw meat, tongs are a great option. Okay, but because I'm trying to do this in a certain amount of time, that's why I'm using the tongs. Okay, so I want you guys to see something. So I just put these in, and they've already released from the pan. Okay, and when I say release, I mean that there is a seared edge on one side, and it's not sticking to the pan. If your food is sticking to the pan, okay, it's not ready to turn over. Okay. I should probably be using a metal tong. Has a little bit better grip. Okay. And now I'm going to put these other ones in. Sear them off. All right. All right. Pork also, guys, is one of those meats that people overcook it all the time, and they turn it into like chewy, tough leather. Nobody wants to eat chewy meat. Ugh. Okay, don't overcook the meat. So that's why I am just searing it off. Okay, I'm cooking the outside. That's what I mean when I say searing it off. Okay, grab this. Okay, I'm searing it off, and then I'm going to put it in my oven. Okay, I'm going to turn my vent on. It's a little smoky in here. All right, so my meat is seared off. I am going to now put it in my oven. Okay, and I'm going to let it finish cooking in the oven. Okay, so now also my risotto is boiling. Okay, so if we look at the directions, again, always go back. It says bring to a boil, then lower the heat to medium and boil uncovered for 10 minutes. So I'm going to lower my heat. Okay, I'm going to give it another stir. You guys can kind of see. Okay, I want it on a nice simmer. Okay, so follow package directions. Like if your food comes with directions, especially pre-made stuff like this, don't make up your own. Okay, because it might not cook correctly, and then you're not going to like it. Okay, so follow the directions. Like they're there for a reason. Okay, so directions are on there, and then it says stir frequently until rice is tender and sauce is creamy. Okay, so for 10 minutes, I'm going to come up here to timer, put it on for 10 minutes, and let that go. Also, in 10 minutes, our meat should be done. Isn't that kind of amazing? Like, we're going to have like a pretty nice meal in under a half an hour. Okay? So, that's in there. Now for the asparagus. Okay. Grab another pan for the asparagus. Okay? Oh, wants to be difficult again. There we go. Okay. Again, I'm going to preheat my pan. Okay. These are my meat tongs. These are my raw meat tongs. Therefore, I'm done with them because the next time I touch the meat, it won't be raw. So they go in the sink. No more meat tongs. All right, let's talk asparagus. Okay. Asparagus is one of my most favorite vegetables. And usually May, Mother's Day time is when the asparagus is fresh here in Wisconsin. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just like bending them at the base, okay? And where they break, that will snap off the rough part of the vegetable. So asparagus are kind of known for having like this woody end that's like really fibrous and unpleasant, okay? So I just bend it, and where it snaps, that's snapping that fibrous end off and just leaving the tender part of the vegetable. Okay. Now you're like, Miss Madgwick, that's like a lot of waste. Okay. Ooh, I want to show you this one. Okay, look at this one. See, this one's like twisted and kind of flat. And you can like see the grains in it. Okay. This one, not good. All right. It's just not good. Trust me. Okay. I've eaten enough asparagus to know. All right. So almost done. Now, what can you do with all those extra ends? Well, you can save them and use them for maybe like a soup base. You can compost them if you're green and crunchy like that. You can maybe feed them to an animal who eats vegetables if you have animals that eat vegetables at your house. Can you eat them? Sure. They just don't feel very good in your mouth. Like they don't have a good mouthfeel. Okay, so here's my asparagus. Okay, it's already cooked. I bought pre-washed asparagus. That's why I'm not washing it. Okay, so it's been pre-washed. Now I'm going to cook it. So I'm heating up a frying pan over here, and I'm going to put a little bit more olive oil in it. All right. I'm also going to put a little bit of butter in there. The reason I like both, we've talked before about how important fat is in flavor. Fat is not the enemy. Just don't be irresponsible with it. Olive oil, awesome. Unsaturated fat, perfect. Butter, saturated fat. Not the best, but still not the worst. It's not a trans fat, okay? And with that butter, okay, you get some of that nuttiness. So I want you guys to see, like in my pan, you can see how it's kind of like a brown color now. That's the butter. The butter has cooked, okay? Browned butter is delicious. Burnt butter is not. So what's the difference? Browned butter kind of smells like chocolate chip cookies, okay? It's like caramelized, and it's earthy. It's almost kind of sweet smelling or like nutty smelling. It's like if you ever made like a pecan pie, it's kind of like that smell. Burnt butter is bad. When it turns black, don't eat it, throw it away, start over. Okay, but a little brown, delicious. All right, so I'm just gonna sear off those asparagus. We've got 6 minutes left on the risotto, and that's really all it has to cook. You don't want to overcook asparagus. Okay, I'm gonna stir this risotto some more. Okay. Okay. But that risotto is getting nice and creamy and delicious. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix up the sauce that I'm gonna put on the pork chops. Yummy. Okay, here's what it's gonna look like. Let me get a bowl. Bowl. All right. Apricot preserves, peaches, apricots, cherries, apples. Those all go so well with pork. Like, they taste so good. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take some of this apricot preserves and I'm gonna put it right in my bowl. Okay? Just a couple big spoonfuls of it. Okay. Chicken broth. Okay. I'm gonna add that to it. And you're like, Mrs. Madgwick, that's gross. You just put apricots and chicken together. Trust me. It's not gross. Trust me. Okay. When you cook with fruit and meat, it changes so much about the dynamics of the flavor. Okay. So don't freak out or be like, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Don't be like that. I promise it's not. Okay. I'm just trying to thin out this preserves. And the reason I'm using the chicken stock, I could use like apple juice or something, but that's too sweet and it's going to burn. It's going to be too sugary. So the chicken stock makes it a little more salty, a little more savory. It's good. All right. Take my tongs again. I'm going to move the asparagus around so that all of the sides get cooked. Okay. So with green vegetables, I'm going to bring you guys over here. With green vegetables, when they cook, they get bright green. That's what you want. You want bright green vegetables. Okay. When they like just, all right, like Packers green. Okay, bright green. That's what you want. They taste so good. They're so tender and delicious. Okay. All right, give those a few more turns in there. All right. And now the asparagus is getting close to done. So now I'm going to season the asparagus a little bit. Lemon. Okay. This is a zester. Essentially, it's like a really tiny cheese grater. I'm about to zest this lemon. Zest is the skin. I'm just going to like take some of the skin off the lemon and put it on my asparagus. You can do this with a cheese grater. You can even do this with like a serrated knife. And hold your lemon like down on your cutting board and just scrape the skin with like a jagged knife, the kind of knife you would use to cut bread. Okay. So I'm just going to zest my lemon right into my asparagus. Okay. Okay. There's my acid. Remember how we talked? Salt, fat, acid, heat. Okay, so the fat's in there. That's the olive oil and the butter. Okay, about to add a little bit of salt. Okay, not a whole lot, just a little bit. Okay, makes your mouth water. Okay, acid. I just put the lemon zest in there, and then the heat. Right, I'm cooking it. Okay, all of those things are going to really make this asparagus delicious. Okay. Same thing goes for the pork chops. Okay, I salted and peppered them before I put them in. Okay, there's some olive oil in the pan. There's your fat. Okay, your acid. I have this apricot preserves that I mixed with some chicken stock. There's my acid. Yes, it's sweet, but it's also acidic. Okay, fruit has a lot of acid in it. Okay, and then the heat. They're cooking right now. I'm actually going to go ahead and take them out. Grab an oven mitt. Okay, I will show you guys. So my pan's been in my oven. That means the handle is going to be crazy hot. All right. My asparagus is done. I'm going to move that off to the back. And I'm going to grab my pork chops. Okay. So they've been in a 400-degree oven for 9 minutes. I seared them on both sides. They're done. Do not overcook pork. It will taste bad. Like it just will. Okay? So how do I know it's done? I know it's done because I cook it a lot. How do you know it's done? Meat thermometer. You can feel it. Okay? When meat is done but not overcooked, okay, it should feel like if you open your hand like this and press when your hand is like opened all the way, it's soft but it's firm underneath. Okay, and that's what you're looking for with your meat. Okay, and that's what I'm getting. Okay, is it soft but it bounces back. Okay, it doesn't just squish in and it's not hard. Okay, it's soft but it bounces back. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, and that's what you can feel on the pork chops. Okay, remember the handle is crazy hot. It's been in the oven, so don't touch it without a mitt on. Okay, this is a well-loved mitt. I think I got this mitt for my wedding. It's like 10 years old. It's kind of sad looking, I know. Okay, you can also check it with the meat thermometer. Okay, 160 degrees for pork. Okay, these are not very thick though, so the meat thermometer is kind of like sketchy. We just put it in there, and it should go up to 160 degrees. If you do not have a meat thermometer at home, they are cheap. They're like $2 at Walmart. Meat thermometers, awesome. Okay, so that is up to temp. All right, my risotto should be just about done here. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. All right. It's wanting to stick a little bit to the bottom of the pan, so I'm just scraping it really nice. All right. All right. Okay, I'm going to turn the risotto down to low so it doesn't burn. Okay. Now I'm going to take the apricot preserves and chicken broth mixture that I made, and I'm going to pour that over my pork chops. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn the heat back up underneath the pork chops so that it starts to boil again. Okay. And I want to take my pork and just turn it in that mixture so that all the sides have some of that on there. Okay. So the pork is done. I'm just going to take the pork off of the stove and I'm going to let that sauce keep cooking. Okay, so I'm just going to remove it to a plate. Okay, and I'm going to let that sauce boil. And what's going to happen is it's going to make something called a demi glaze. Okay, it's a sauce made from meat and other juices, and it's really thick, and it's savory and it's sweet, and all those things. And so I'm just going to let the apricot and chicken stock and the olive oil and the salt and pepper that was on the pork chops, okay, and then the juices that were released from the pork, I'm just going to let all of that boil. Okay, so you guys can kind of see, right? The pan is, woo, that was hot. See, that's why I don't tell you. Also, why I don't have feeling in my fingers. Okay, all right. Okay, just going to let that boil and get thick. We want it to basically kind of look like syrup. Okay, not quite as thick as syrup, but close. Okay, so let that boil away. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my oven because I'm done with it. I'm going to taste my asparagus. It's so good. Seriously. Oh my God. On the bite, it's delicious. I promise. Oh, I love to cook, guys. Okay. So, that's boiling. I'm going to eat the rest of this because it's delicious. All right, cheese. I love cheese. Do you love cheese? I love cheese. Okay, this is like the fancy cheese. You can just with cheddar, you can just with Parmesan, even like shaker parm. It'll all work. Okay. But a little bit of cheese, oh my gosh, it just adds, it gives your dish a lot of good mouthfeel. Okay. So when I say mouthfeel, I mean like it feels good when you eat it. It's pleasant feeling in your mouth. All right. So that's almost done. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take my spoon. I'm gonna see how thick it is. Okay, it should like coat the back of your spoon and like not run off. It should like drip off. Okay, it shouldn't be running off, and that's what this one's doing. Okay, so all right, let me give it a little taste. It's so good, guys. Okay, yum, delicious. Don't put it back in your pan. It was in your mouth. All right. So when I serve this, let me grab a plate. I'll show you what it's going to look like. All right. So when I serve this, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of my risotto. Okay. Put it down on the plate. All right. Then I'm going to take some of my asparagus. Okay. And lay it down. Okay. As a nice base. All right. Take a couple of these pork chops that are nice and seared. Okay. So far, so good. Yeah. So far, so good. Okay. Oh, I need a new spoon because I put that one in my mouth, don't I? Okay. All right. I'm going to turn my Demi Glaze off because it is like thick and delicious. Okay. And I'm just going to scoop some of it up. Okay. And drizzle that over the asparagus, drizzle it over the pork. Okay. Drizzle it over the risotto. Okay. And then if you want, like I said, you can turn this camera down. You can, over the top, if you want to grate some cheese or something over the top, any of that's going to work. Okay. But boxed risotto, okay, so super basic. It's just a cheesy risotto, okay, but it's that cheesy element that gives the dish that fat and that creaminess that you need. Okay, we've got acid. I put lemon zest on the asparagus. We put some of the apricot on the pork. Okay, that acid there, everything was salted well. I tasted my food as I was making it, so it tasted good. And then everything's cooked correctly, okay? Using heat appropriately, not overcooking your food. That's how you make it delicious, okay? And that's how you make something from a box, okay, really be a star of a meal. The next one I do, guys, let me know what you want me to do. I'll do mac and cheese, ramen, soup, whatever. And I'll actually like transform just that basic thing and not just do like a side, like a meal like this. But show me, let me know in the comments, shoot me an email, whatever. What do you want me to do next as far as flavor goes? I don't know why the comments didn't show this time. It makes me kind of sad. I got to figure that out. Okay, I'm going to go. It's been 33 minutes. Thank you to those of you who tuned in. I wish I could see your faces. I really miss you guys. If you have any questions about homework or anything like that, reach out to me. I really do want to be there for you guys and help you out any way I can right now. Okay? Bye.